Have you ever asked yourself this simple question? How long have you been learning English? 7 years? 10 years? Or maybe almost your whole life? And yet after all this time, something still feels wrong. You read the rules, you memorize the words, you pass the tests. But when you try to speak, it's like an invisible wall is standing right in front of you. Your brain slows down, your words sound broken, and you ask yourself, why can't I be fluent, even after so many years? Listen carefully. It's not your teacher's fault. It's not because you are lazy. It's not because English is too hard. The truth is much deeper. You've been living inside an illusion. For years, most learners have been trapped in what I call the translation buffer. This is the hidden system inside your brain that forces you to translate everything from your native language before you speak. And guess what? Translation is slow. It creates cognitive load. It burns your mental energy. And that's why, even if you know 1,000 words, you still freeze in real conversations. But today, here in this podcast, we're going to break that wall. Welcome back to Elingo podcast, where we don't just study English, we hack the brain for fluency. In this special episode, I'm going to share with you a secret that can completely change the way you think, learn, and live in English. A secret I call the cognitive OS shift, the operating system upgrade for your brain. This is not another grammar lesson. It's not a vocabulary list. This is the operating system upgrade your brain has been waiting for. For many years, we were told the same story. To master English, you must learn vocabulary, memorize grammar rules, practice listening and speaking every single day. And of course, that advice is not wrong. But it has never been enough. Because vocabulary and grammar are not the operating system. They are only the tools. Think about it this way. Right now, you are still running on your native OS, your first language operating system. English is just an app you open from time to time. And every time you want to use it, your brain has to switch back, translate, and process. That's why your words feel heavy, your sentences slow, and your conversations awkward. Meanwhile, fluent speakers, even those who were once learners just like you, did something completely different. They installed a new system inside their brain, an English OS. This is what I call the cognitive OS shift. What does this mean? It means they no longer collect English like coins, storing words and grammar rules in a notebook. Instead, they live in English. They run it directly like their default system. When an idea comes, it doesn't pass through the translation buffer. It flows straight into English. And here's the powerful truth. Fluent speakers are not smarter than you. They don't have a special gene for languages. What they did is a simple but radical shift. They stopped learning English as a subject and started living it as an environment. But let me ask you this. If you keep following the same old road, memorizing, translating, repeating, without changing your system, what will happen? You will always remain a learner, always trying, but never truly fluent. The good news? This shift is possible for you. You can rewire your brain. You can break free from the translation buffer. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how. Now let's go even deeper. Because fluency is not only about technique, it's also about identity. Think about this. When you write an email in English, who are you in that moment? Are you still a native speaker of your mother tongue trying to use English? Or are you already the international professional speaking directly to a global partner? When you watch a movie without subtitles, are you still a student studying English? Or are you simply a movie lover, enjoying the story like millions of native speakers do every day? This is what I call the identity shift. Without this shift, English will always feel foreign. But when you change your identity, when you step into the role, the negotiator, the researcher, the storyteller, the artist, English becomes natural. And this identity shift creates something powerful, linguistic automation. In other words, English becomes automatic. But here is the danger. If you don't make this shift, you will fall into what experts call fossilization. What does that mean? It means your mistakes, your habits, your interlanguage. This mix between your native tongue and English will become permanent. They turn into fossils inside your brain. And once fossilized, they are extremely hard to change. That's why many learners, after 10 or even 20 years, still sound the same. They're stuck. Why does this happen? Because every time you translate, every time you use your native operating system, you are reinforcing the fossil. Your brain keeps building the same wrong patterns again and again until they become your default. But here's the hope. When you install an English OS, when you live in English directly, you break the fossil. You create new neural connections that bypass your old language habits. You stop being a translator and you start being a communicator. So ask yourself, who do you want to be? A learner forever trapped in translation? Or a fluent communicator who thinks, reacts, and creates in English without fear? This is the choice you face. And in the next part, I'll give you the 3 core actions to make this transformation real in your life. So how do you make this shift real? How do you stop translating and finally install the English OS in your brain? It comes down to 3 powerful actions. And if you commit to them, everything changes. Action 1. Create your zero translation zone. From today, choose 3 areas of your life where translation is forbidden. Absolutely forbidden. Maybe it's your work notes. From now on, every to-do list, every project plan must be written in English. Maybe it's your daily reading. Instead of checking news in your native language, you switch to English articles. Or maybe it's your inner voice. Every day, spend at least 30 minutes thinking only in English, even if it's just talking to yourself. Why is this so powerful? Because your brain learns by environment. The more areas you seal off from translation, the more your brain accepts English as the default. Action 2. The role-playing technique. Here's the secret. Don't just study English. Become someone in English. When you're writing, become the international consultant. When you're speaking, become the global negotiator. When you're watching a movie, become the real audience, not the student. This is not a game. This is identity training. And when you step into a role, your brain automatically turns on the right language, the right confidence, the right energy. It's like flipping a switch. Action 3. Deliberate practice in contexts. Now listen carefully. This is where most learners fail. They practice randomly, hoping to improve. But random practice keeps you stuck. What you need is deliberate practice. Try the rapid response drill. Pick a topic, set a timer, and speak nonstop for 2 minutes. No pausing, no translating. Just push your brain to respond in real time. Try the abstract compression. Watch a documentary or listen to a podcast and immediately summarize everything in just 2 sentences in English. This forces your brain to synthesize and think directly in English. Try chunking mastery. Stop memorizing single words. Start learning natural phrases. To get the hang of it, in the long run, I'm leaning toward these are the true building blocks of fluency. These 3 actions, the zero translation zone, role-playing, and deliberate practice, are the core tools to reprogram your brain. They will feel strange at first. They will feel uncomfortable. But discomfort is proof that your brain is rewiring itself. And the moment you stay consistent, you'll notice the magic. English will stop being something you study and start being something you live. Now there's only one thing left, the commitment. And that's exactly what we'll talk about in the final part of this episode. So here we are. You've seen the illusion. You've understood the translation trap. You've discovered the cognitive OS shift, the identity shift, and the danger of fossilization. You now hold in your hands the 3 core actions that can rewire your brain for fluency. But here's the truth. Knowledge alone will not save you. You cannot think your way into fluency. You cannot translate your way into fluency. You must live your way into fluency. Just like you cannot learn to swim by reading a manual, you cannot master English by memorizing rules. You have to jump into the water. You have to move, practice, struggle, and keep going. until floating becomes natural. From this moment, you have a choice. One path takes you back to the old habits, translation, hesitation, frustration. The other path takes you forward to a new identity, a new operating system, a new life where English is not a subject, but a part of who you are. So right now, don't wait. Pick up your phone. Switch its language to English. Write down 3 commitments for your zero translation zone. Decide the role you will play next time you use English. And set a time today to practice deliberately, not randomly. This is not just another podcast. This is a turning point. You are no longer just a learner. From this moment, you are an operator running your life in English. And when it feels hard, when your brain wants to go back to translation, remember this. Repetition is the mother of mastery. Every time you practice, every time you live in English, you are building the second nature of fluency. Stay with it. Keep repeating. Keep living in English. And one day soon, you will realize the wall is gone. You are speaking, thinking, and creating freely. This is the cognitive OS shift. This is your future. Now go and make it real. Thank you for listening. If this episode gave you value, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to Elingo podcast, your space to train the brain and master English every single day. And remember, you don't learn English to survive. You learn English to expand your world.